My name is Cindy Finestone, and I'm a member of the People with Parkinson's Advisory Council. So I was diagnosed in 2013 with Parkinson's, and recently I needed to go into the hospital for a knee replacement. The knee replacement went totally fine. Everything was great. It was all the other things around my Parkinson's and my medications that did not go the way it should have. I was so diligent about making sure that I covered all my bases before I went to the hospital, and it just went from bad to worse. From the moment I walked in, I knew it would be a problem when nobody there knew I had Parkinson's. So I had made copies of all of my records about Parkinson's, what my neurologist had said, and I handed them all out. The neurologist had been very diligent in saying what I could and couldn't take, what medications would interact. The anesthesiologist came and talked to me 3 separate times about when I was going to get out of the surgery, if a half an hour late would be a problem. And I said, no, as long as I get my medication within that block of time. He said, I'll make sure you're not too anesthetized and that you're awake so you can take your medication. And when I got out of the OR and I woke up and I said to the recovery room nurse, do you have my medication? She looked at me like I had 2 heads and did not know that I had Parkinson's. So 2.5 hours later, I got my medication. And then the pharmacist came upstairs and said, we don't have 2 of your medications here to give to you. And I said, well, lucky for me, I have them in my little bag here. So they took them downstairs and did whatever they do to make sure that they're what they say they are, and she let me take them. I had 1 oxycodone the whole time I was in the hospital, but come to find out that interacted with one of my medications that I took at night. So when I went home, everybody was on me about making sure I didn't let the pain get ahead of me. So I took the medication, but I was also taking Azilect, which is the drug that interacted severely. I went into serotonin syndrome, where you don't know what's going on. My husband ended up calling the service and they talked him out getting an ambulance because I kept saying to him, something's wrong. I couldn't see. I had no fever, and a half an hour later I was 103 fever. And I started having other symptoms that go along with that serotonin syndrome. And the next day they tried to put me on a different medication, and my local pharmacist called me and said, Cindy, you can't be on this. And she started listing all the symptoms that I had. She goes, you were in crisis. Like, they should have sent you to the hospital. Even though this happened and it really wasn't a fun experience, I'm happy to say that the hospital I went to see their patient liaison, and they asked me to be part of their patient family advocacy council. It's all about education and making sure that the right people know the information, and sometimes they just don't. The hospital's talking about doing some educational things for their nursing staff, the doctors, and contacting me and getting the foundation to be a part of that.
It was almost like a whole 360 turnaround compared to the first time. They really spent a lot of time with me. They went through my medication list more than once. They called me twice before I even went in the hospital to go over my medication list. They marked things in red. I got a special red band when I went to the hospital to make sure that everybody was checking my chart. The anesthesiologist, when he came in, I said, do you need me to tell you anything about my medical background? And he goes, oh no, I've read up on you. I know everything about you. Which was totally the opposite of the first time, because the first time they didn't even know I had Parkinson's. I was actually wide awake in the OR before they took me to recovery room and made sure that I got my Parkinson's med right away. So everything that happened went really well. I had no interaction with any meds, and my Parkinson's meds were given on time. It was so different, and now I'm part of their patient advisory council. Hopefully I'll make a difference. My story will make a difference. To all you people there, just be sure you're aware of all your medications and have an advocate if you can't advocate for yourself while you're in a hospital.